All right. The first type of FRQ that you are going to practice in class is a concept application question. So let's look at an example of one of those and how you might answer it. So first, let's read through this question. The United States Constitution has endured for more than 2 centuries as the framework of government. However, the meaning of the Constitution has been changed by both formal and informal methods. So here it's just talking about how the Constitution has been interpreted differently over time. First, it says, identify 2 formal methods for adding amendments to the Constitution. So to answer this question, you would say, 2 formal methods for adding amendments to the Constitution are, okay, and then you would talk about how 2/3 of Congress can propose an amendment to the Constitution, or you could have a convention of the states, and then you would talk about the ratification process for both of those proposals. So those are the 2 formal methods for adding amendments to the Constitution. That is how you would answer that question. Then in part B, it says describe 2 informal methods that have been used to change the meaning of the Constitution. Provide 1 specific example for each formal method you describe. So here you could talk about how the Supreme Court has interpreted the Constitution over time. That's 1 example of an informal method. You could talk about how customs and traditions have changed over time. That would be another method, informal method. Okay, so those are examples, and you would just provide a specific example for each of those methods that you described. And then in part C, it says, explain why informal methods are used more often than the formal amendment process. And here you would just simply have to say that informal methods are used more often than the formal amendment process because, make sure that if it says explain, you're putting that because in there. The formal amendment process is very difficult to achieve. There have only been 27 amendments to the Constitution, something of that nature where you are explaining that it is because it is more difficult to go through that formal process. So this is an example of a concept application question, how you would go about answering this question.